4 contestants enter, but only 1 leaves a champion. That's right, it's time for the one and only Project Nerd Game Show. Live from the Project Nerd Studios in StreamYard, it's The Last Word.
Welcome, everybody, to The Last Word. I'm your host, Andy Adair. So good to see you. Sorry about 2 weeks ago, my internet died, but I brought 2 people back from that show because I felt so bad about how that went. First up, Drew. Drew, apologies again. Good to see you, though.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, of course. I felt, we had to make it up to you. Okay. So this week you're going to get a fully engaged me, no internet problems, and I'll be here the whole time. I promise.
Good.
All right.
I like those
up
promises.
Next,
thank you.
Let's bring in our a new player today. Someone has been on the show before, and before the episode told me that she's always being eliminated in the first round. So we'd like to see that not happen today. Leah, welcome aboard.
Hello.
Hello. Great to see you today. How are things?
They're good. I have my sidekick with me today, so hopefully he can help me make it to round 2.
All the secret answers are going to be coming from him today. All right. And then, of course, our third guest today is going to be Dee. Dee is going to be hopping on here in just a minute. Dee, there she is. Welcome. Great to see you today.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yes, I also owe it to you. And so just anything that you and Drew need, I'm here for. Also, Leah, guess what? We're not going to eliminate in the first round. So you've already beaten your previous games that you've been on here. So, all right, great job. Let's get to the first questions today. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We've got a nice Doctor Strange release this weekend, right? We've got some Fast and the Furious news. So let us get into round 1. All right, so Justin Lin is out as the director of Fast X. And sources came out today and recently said it was because Diesel shows up late to the set. He doesn't know lines. He's out of shape. Replacement, though, already has been found for the movie, and Louis Lederer, who did Incredible Hulk in 2008, and then Now You See Me, if you guys have seen that one, the Magic movie. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot, I'm a big Fast and the Furious fan myself. So I guess let's start with Vin Diesel. Dee, do you think that this is like a surprise from Vin Diesel? We've heard he's had issues for a long time.
He's pulling a Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now and pretty much every movie after that Marlon Brando has been in. And did I freeze?
You did freeze, but that's okay. Just you keep talking. Don't you worry about that. You look confused there.
Yeah, so that's a great shot of me. Thanks, camera. I appreciate that. But yeah, he's going to be one of the greatest actors of all times if he keeps this trajectory up, just like Marlon Brando. So
that's right.
Vin Diesel.
Points to you for already comparing Vin Diesel to Marlon Brando and comparing Fast X to Apocalypse Now. So congratulations on that one.
For.
All right, Drew, what do you got? Let's hear your take on this.
As you can tell, big Fast and the Furious fan. I feel like I'm their target audience every time they come out with their 17th movie. But I remember being 16 and watching the first one and loving the whole franchise. But it might be a good thing. Dare I say, after 10 movies and quite a few under Justin Lin's direction, we could become a little stale. I don't know, just spitballing here. So I'm here for it. I think the new director made Now You See Me way cooler than it probably should have been. So I'm interested to see where the direction goes from here.
It's almost like Fast and the Furious is reverse stale because it does such crazy things at this point. It's like a normal racing movie would be wild for them to do here where
Take
we're
it
at
back to the roots,
right?
They
did actually
is possibly
go to space last time. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, Leah, are you a Fast and Furious fan? Are you a Vin Diesel fan? What do you think?
You guys are going to hhate me for this, but I do not like Fast and the Furious.
That's okay.
So
no hate.
Honestly, I don't.
-4 points, but no hate.
I don't really care who's directing it. I think it's going to be a flaming hot pile of garbage, no matter who's in charge. I think the series should have died long before Paul Walker. And honestly, I'm probably the only person in the world who thinks that Tokyo Drift is the best movie in the whole series. It's the only one I'll ever watch again if it comes across. No. Drew's just dying over there. But
Drew,
yeah,
Drew, are you not a Tokyo Drift guy?
I mean, I think it's safe to say it's my least favorite. I'm not saying I hate it. It's my least favorite.
Everybody who says they're a Fast and Furious fan says that it's their least favorite, and I'm like, well, I hate Fast and Furious, and it's my favorite. So
and that makes sense. It's just the main character is just so dry the whole time. He's no Paul Walker.
I will ride for Fast Tokyo Drift. Don't, Leah, that's an awesome movie. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Now, Dee, I know that you don't have your camera working right now, but I know you can still hear us. So are you a Tokyo Drift fan?
I enjoy Tokyo drifting myself when I'm like, driving in the snow. But I've actually never seen a Fast and the Furious movie. So
okay, that's okay.
Not
totally
missing
loud.
much, so
You are missing
worry.
the world, and you should watch them all and enjoy. You'll have a great weekend of family
back
and
to back to
Coronas.
back to back.
Yeah, just
I've
lots
heard
of stuff going on.
it's a great franchise. They wouldn't have made 10 movies if people didn't like it. So they're doing something right.
Well, let's just hope that Vin Diesel is not going to flame this franchise out before they can get the triumphant 10 and 11 movies made that they're doing, because they've already committed to one more.
Did they
What
skip
the hell?
movie 9? Because I feel like it went from Fast 8 and now they're doing Fast X. Did I just miss one?
You skipped movie 9.
I skipped
a lot.
I skipped everything after Tokyo Drift, so I don't know. But I feel like I never heard of 9.
I feel like they put more emphasis on Hobbs, the spinoff, than they did Fast and 9. So the spinoff.
They did, yes, absolutely, yeah. And that was a lot of The Rock's doing, because he didn't want to do a movie with Vin Diesel, but he still liked the Fast and the Furious franchise. So let's see how many other spin-offs we can get, because everybody hates Vin, right? So we are going to end that first round with 3 points a piece. Dee, you had 4, but then you lost your camera, so you lost 1 point. The only thing disappointing about your camera not working is that we didn't get it to stave on your face, like the confused look of.
I know, it is disappointing.
Well, we are going to move on to our next question here. So we're going to talk a little bit about Doctor Strange. We're going to talk spoiler free. And really, this is the last chance that we have to talk about this movie before it comes out this weekend. So, do you think this movie can be good? Early reviews are already kind of mixed, honestly, on this, which is a little bit surprising. Is there a character that you're expecting to see, or that you'd like to see, that you'd be surprised to see? Any thoughts that you have on it? Drew, let's start with you.
It is. I did dive into some of the reviews a little bit, and a lot of the word that I saw the most on the reviews was it's disjointed, but people would always back that up with, but it seems like it's on purpose. So I think it'll look great visually. Hopefully, it's just like a fun movie that we don't get too many like scenarios.
Yeah.
But I would love to see some random like X-Men characters show up. Like maybe like drop the seeds for a Gambit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
That would be awesome. That would be incredible. Yeah. Jubilee, anyone? Jubilee?
Right. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we talked about her last time.
That's right. I would have known that had my internet not died, and then okay, so Leah, now we're talking about Doctor Strange here, and I know you told me that you weren't planning to go right away to see this, but are you excited still for the movie overall? And you think it could be good?
I am excited. I think it's going to be really good. The first Doctor Strange was probably one of my favorite movies in the Marvel franchise, so I'm pretty excited about this one. I also really liked WandaVision, so I'm excited to see Wanda Maximoff play a slightly bigger role in this movie. It looks like from the cast, her sons are going to be joining us, so I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to play her in that family dynamic, because we got a little bit of it in WandaVision, but not too much. So I'm mostly just excited to see how they fit all of these characters together. And it probably is going to be a little bit disjointed, but I feel like Marvel always opens themselves up for more movies. So I'm expecting a lot of things to be left, like a lot of loose ends to be left afterwards.
Dee, this has been one of the reviews I saw. I called this a beginner's horror movie. And it's definitely Marvel's first foray into horror. Would that be exciting for you to come to, going into a Marvel movie, to know that it might be scary?
Yeah. Didn't they do one with the girl who plays Arya Stark? And that were
Yes.
like the new mutants
They
or
pretended
something.
that didn't exist because that was a Fox movie right before Disney bought. It's actually decent, but I think most movies are decent. So continue on.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like a almost horror movie, that sounds pretty cool, and definitely makes me want to see it more. So you sold me.
I'm not a big Sam Raimi fan. Is that weird? Drew, are you a horror guy?
Nah, I'm not a big horror guy. I don't like to be scared. Like to
Life
be
is
honest with you,
scary as it is.
I like my Fast and my Furious movies, and I like my rom-coms. Like I like all the lights on in the room when I'm watching a movie. I don't need things jumping out at me. So yeah, I'm good.
Leah, what about you? Do you like horror movies?
I really like horror movies.
Okay.
So I'm
So
kind
this
of,
might be good, good for you. Again, a couple people have been saying horror themes, horror tones, a lot of Sam Raimi influence, obviously, director of the movie. So exciting this weekend. It comes out finally, right? We're very excited for that. After round one, nobody's eliminated. Everyone's tied with 5 points still. So we're going to go straight into round two and get into our next questions. All right, so Cinemacon was last week, and there was a lot of reveals and information about upcoming movies. Oscar buzz for Top Gun. Anybody? Right? Anyone? Tom Cruise fans? I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. So all the major studios were there, of course, though. Sony, Disney, WB, Universal, Lionsgate, Paramount. Is there anything that you saw, any piece of news that you heard, any highlight that you had that you wanted to talk about, or do you even care about the big hype machine at this point? Let's say, Leah, why don't we start with you?
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Leah, go ahead. Leah, you go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I didn't want to cut Drew off there.
You're so polite.
Honestly, I didn't even know what Cinemacon was before you asked that question. But I also kind of feel like I don't really care too much about the big hype machine. I think if a movie comes out and it's good, that's great. But there's, unless there's something, I usually really enjoy movies that come from books. So if I've read a book and I see that they're making a movie out of it, I'll get super excited. Otherwise, like if it's part of a big franchise or any sort of like big blockbuster, series, I'm kind of like, I could take it or leave it, honestly.
Okay. All right. Drew, what about you? What do you think about anything from Cinemacon you wanted to bring up and talk about? Do you care?
The only thing that sparked my interest, I am curious about Top Gun because it is so easy to fumble remakes, but everything early on is to the contrary. But did I read somewhere where Olivia Wilde got served papers?
She did.
Like while on stage talking, like that.
She got served custody papers on stage in the middle of her presentation.
That is a whole new level of petty, and I respect it. And that's fantastic.
We talked about Pineapple Express 2 weeks ago, and that character is a process server. Definitely, that was the guy, right? He like smoked a bunch of weed and went in to serve her at the.
Right.
This will be funny.
And then he just got to probably chill, because he had to buy a ticket to get in there to serve her the papers. So then he's like, "Well, ridiculous. I might as well hang out while I'm here."
I will say that felt a little bit like disrespectful to me, but if that's the only way they can get their documents to her, then so be it, right? A little bit petty.
Yeah.
Honestly, those celebrities are so hard to get to. It's like sometimes that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Like I imagine that wasn't the first attempt,
Oh, there's no way. Yeah, like Cinemacon day one. That's like, that's not their plan A for sure. That was like plan D. D, speaking of D, what do you think about Cinemacon? Any news or any trailers that you saw that were any good for you, or do you care about hype at this point?
The only thing I care about is the next Dune film. So they had some honorees from Dune's team, and that was cool. But other than that, I try to avoid trailers because so much is given away. And if I like the movie, I'm going to see it. The trailer isn't really going to influence me very much. So I try to just avoid them because they could spoil it. They could make it look like a totally different movie than what it really is. It's really a crapshoot these days.
Especially Marvel, they will treat their trailers to be different and cut differently than in the movies. They'll remove characters and add characters into, so they try to be sneaky with their stuff. Dee, tell me, was there any great Dune news? Because I, like you, love that movie. I think it's incredible, and I'm so excited for the next one.
It's coming out October 20th, 2023.
Okay,
So,
next year. Excellent. Very, very
yeah,
excited.
got something to look forward to.
Yes, yeah, only a year and a half from now. All right, well, let's get into our third question or second question of the day for this round, and kind of this is going to be more open ended than we've really done before. There's a few things that are happening right now in the world. There's some entertainment news, there's some actual news, and I just wanted to give you guys a chance to kind of bring something up, maybe that we haven't talked about today, or just something that's worth mentioning. Lea, I'm going to start with you on this one. What did you want to talk about?
Well, I know the big news today is the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade, or the potential for them to. So I kind of feel like every other news article at this point, like the stuff that's going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, that's all just a big distraction technique to keep us from actually paying attention to what they're trying to do.
Your cat was disgusted that we even brought up
Somebody
Amber
rang
Heard
my
and Johnny
doorbell,
Depp.
so I got really scared.
Well, yeah, Roe v. Wade getting overturned is a really big deal. We talked about this little pre-show, but we've seen companies pull out of certain states just because they don't have laws that are kind of inclusive laws, right, for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's possible that we see something like this with Roe v. Wade and the laws that are going to come out of it?
I hope so. Like if nobody ever makes another movie in Texas or Alabama, I will be perfectly okay with that. So I hope that studios start to take a stand, because that's the people that spend the most money in those states. If they stop bringing their business, then they're going to have to do something. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can do, is to put our money where our mouth is, essentially, and not support those states that decide to overturn it.
Dee, any thoughts on that at all you want to talk about today?
Yeah, I definitely would appreciate seeing companies pulling out of those, whatever states decide to not support it. And, the almighty dollar rules supreme. So if it hurts their economy, they're probably going to have second thoughts. And that's all I could say about that, because I'm not a political scientist.
but the biggest point that you made, and it's probably the only point worth considering, is that money talks. And unless that there is like some money getting thrown around and behind the scenes, or we as consumers don't decide we want to make choices, then things might not happen when we want them to. It's a good point. Drew, what do you think about Roe v. Wade today? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's just ridiculous that it's 2022 and we're still worried about supplying basic human rights. We're not taking steps forward as a country. We're taking a bunch of steps back, and the hypocrisy of the politicians, they're not hiding it anymore. It's right out in our faces. They're telling us they don't care what we think. They're going to do what they want to do. And it's very disheartening for the future of the country.
Now, not to shift away from something so serious so quickly, right? Because we do think that's honestly at the forefront of probably all of our minds today as we're going through this whole show. But is there something that you wanted to talk about this week, Drew, that it was a news story worth bringing up?
Well,
hopefully I think you got a good one, right?
Yeah, hopefully it's on a little bit, like it's a different, path.
It'll lighten the mood. It'll lighten the mood.
There is an officer and a murder suspect missing after going to a fake appointment in Alabama, and they don't know if she's in on it or what. Okay. But they're both last name White, so everyone immediately was like, they're related. That's their cousin, but no record showed they're related whatsoever. So I just love that it's Alabama, and my man, they either are lovers, and I hope this is the next Bonnie and Clyde type scenario, or he somehow tricked her into getting the van keys or something. I don't know.
Now, is he the murderer, or is he the cop?
She's the cop.
She's the cop. Okay. Yeah. Well, hopefully it is something that is not horribly wrong that's happened, right? And hopefully it's something that's like a,
it's weird to hope that she's in on it for her safety's sake. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is. Yeah, you have to though, right? So Channing Tatum as the murderer, right? Alabama guy, cast the female lead in this movie.
I think you got to go Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron, I would be so in on a Tatum Theron Bonnie and Clyde.
I think their
date,
chemistry
right?
would be fantastic,
Leah,
especially
I
if
don't know
they
if
like
you,
have a little sarcasm back and forth. It'd be top notch.
Leah, I don't know if you heard, but there's he read a story about a cop and a murderer that ran away together. If you had to
I
cast
saw
that in a
that.
movie, who would it be? Who's your casting?
Ooh. For the cop, I'm gonna go with Toni Collette. And for the murderer,
I like Toni Collette. She's a good actress.
that's a good question. And I'm honestly just completely blanking on a single male actor's name at this point. So I think Channing Tatum would be good, but somebody maybe, I mean, I know we just talked about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but I think Johnny Depp would be great because he's kind of dark and looks like he could go to prison, but also is still very charismatic in like a weird sexual way. So yeah, I'd do Johnny Depp and Toni Collette.
Do you cast that movie for us? Who do you think would be good in the in that story?
So I'm gonna go more of like the comedy route and go with Leslie Jones and Jermaine Clement because I think he could pull off the accent, and I think they would do great. I'm sure they'd have amazing chemistry, and it would just be like, funny slapstick antics happening left and right. So
I would watch that for sure.
That is at a casting that I just didn't see coming, and that sounds like it would be delightful. So, all in on that. Any you guys, before we finish this round, any other comments that you want to talk about with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? I know we kind of blew over it. You guys have anything you want to say? The only thing I want to say is don't take a dump in your friends' beds or the people that you love's beds. That's what I'm gonna go with.
I was literally gonna say Amber Heard's team really shit the bed on her whole PR. It's funny because as soon as they talked about like her firing her PR team, my Facebook was just flooded with the most disgusting Amber Heard propaganda. Like Amber Heard has the world's most scientifically beautiful face, and like all this random garbage that I was just like, oh my god, that's
it's a rough one to keep on. They played the tape I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago of her like making fun of him, saying that he was an abused person. And that was tough to, that's tough to hear. It just like from anybody, let alone, forget about the man-woman dynamic there. Just sucks to have someone have to go through that. So, Drew, have you been keeping up with it?
It's just crazy, man. Like I don't think there's going to be any real winner here. I know everyone's like Team Amber, Team Johnny, but like the more details come out, like just get these two away from each other. Like Jesus.
I think there's going to be a winner, and it's going to be us because I think Disney's going to greenlight that next Pirates movie after this. Now that we know Johnny Depp's not as crazy as we thought he was to start, so I'm all in on that. There was a big report too during the whole thing that he had an offer on the table to make Pirates 6, so maybe it's still there when this is all said and done. I would love that. Okay, well after that second round, Leah, you got 11. Drew, you've got 11. Dee, you're at 10. Dee, you would have 12, but you lost another point that round for not having a camera. And so going into the final round will be Leah and Drew. Thank you very much, Dee, for being here. We'll bring you back on towards the end here in just a minute, okay?
Yeah.
I know you're waving goodbye right now, right?
I am.
Okay. All right, well, let's get us over to our final round. Okay, in typical fashion, the last round, Disney Dreamlight Valley, this is a silly question, is a new free-to-play game coming from Disney. And yes, it is a city-building game where you can build your own Disney neighborhoods. So right now there's 29 confirmed characters, but what I want to know from the both of you is who do you want as your Disney roommate and or neighbor? And best answer is going to win, so let's go. Drew, you're up first.
All right, I'm going with Max Goof from the Goofy movie.
Now, point of clarification: are a teenage Max, or are we like a college age Max? No, is he the adult now?
No, he's an adult because that movie came out at 95. He was like a teenager then, so we're about the same age. So like, I think we could be great neighbors. Great cookouts on Saturday. We could hang out and write a great stoner buddy comedy together. I think I'm going Max Goof.
Would you be at all concerned when his dad came over and Goofy was like stumbling around and worried about your house or just your safety in general?
No, I'd build a very nice fence and go meet him at his house.
Okay, all right. Leo, who would you want to have as your roommate or neighbor from Disney?
I did not think enough about this question. Probably Snow White for the sole reason that she can summon all of the animals to my house, and I really like animals. So the fact that I would then, by proxy, be friends with all of the wildlife, that's probably why she
Okay, well, so at first glance, Leah, I think that you would actually would win with an answer like that. But the more I think about it, the more and more I'd like to say that this show stands against forced animal labor. And so, Drew, you, sir, are going to be our champion today. Thank
All
you very
right.
much for being here.
I'm
Leah and I are
2-0.
going to back out. We're going to give you about 30 seconds here to talk for some, and we'll come right back. All right. Let me give you
Nice.
the little championship winning here.
All right. Yeah. Check out all of my stand-up clips at drewharrisoncomedy.com. I got a podcast, My Funny Friends, that should be joining the Project Nerd family here shortly. And be on the lookout this summer. My debut album / special drops based on a Drew story. You should be able to listen to it wherever you stream music. And we're waiting to hear about the platform for the video part.
Awesome. Well, we're really excited for that. It's going to be super exciting. As it get closer to release, definitely come back on and we'll talk about it some more. Okay.
Sounds good.
Leah, anything you want to plug today? Just you can plug it real quick. Why not?
I don't have anything. I hope
Okay.
everyone watches The Last Word.
Yeah, check out Project Nerd. Check out all of our stuff that we got on the website. Check out all our podcasts, all our videos. Thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate it. And we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye.